Ayan, so good day everyone. After we have tackled our lesson number 11, the communication in relationships, we are now in lesson number 12. Ano po? Becoming a parent. So malamang ano ang bawat isa sa inyo ay nagnanais na maging isang magulang. With in terms of being magulang, so dapat ay meron tinatawag na anak. Ano? Oh, so let's ask everyone, do you really want to have a children or why people want to have children? Yan yung mga tanong sa ating isipan na maaaring naiisip din ninyo sa mga panahon ito. Some people who have children do not want them, at least not at the same time of conception. As many as one of every 10 children born each year were unwanted when they were conceived. On the other hand, in a pool of people 40 years or younger, 84% said they wanted to have children at some point in their lives. The desires for children is so strong in many couples that both the husband and the wife may grieve for 2 years or more if following a pregnancy loss. If you grew up in a family that provided you with meaningful experiences, you are likely to want to have your own family. For example, women are perceive their fathers as being warm, affectionate, and helpful, and who recall their family life as a happy one, are more highly motivated than others to have children. And there are some reasons why they really want to have a children. So number one is personal fulfillment. Having children may be perceived as not only adding to our happiness, but to our fulfillment as humans. Some people believe that the experience of having a child is unique, that it adds a dimension to life that is unparalleled by any other. And children unable to express life values, friends who have children may convey that impression to you. The mass media may reinforce it through stories of parents who find ultimate joy in the experience of childbirth. There are some patalastas or commercials, TV commercials pertaining to having a children or caring for children. That's gonna be so amazing. And some people feel that children in feed rather than facilities personal fulfillment. They ought to remain child free. Therefore, in order that they may find fulfillment through their work, their interest in other adult relationships. Children require time and energy that they prefer to put into pursuits, those they believe more likely to yield personal satisfaction and growth. So, of course, second one is personal and family legacy. Many, if not most of us, want to leave our imprint on the world in some way. In addition, there is a desire to carry on the family line. Frequently, these desires only awaken as you get older, but at some point, you are likely to experience them. Children are the means of satisfying those desires, and they are your personal legacy to humanity. Are the extension of your family line? Yes, I guess so. Because we really want to have our family line in order to continue uh, our legacy and of course our blood. And of course, we have the personal status. In some cultures, having children is means of achieving high status in the community. Among the ancient Jews, for example, a woman was not considered fully human until she bore a son. In some contemporary societies, women still gain status by bearing children, and men gain status by fathering them or fathering the children. That is included in the personal status. Even in our country, that is one of a status that everyone desires. Next is religious beliefs. Those who identify with an organized religion are more likely to want children than those who do not. Most religions are strongly pro-family. Some religions, such as Romans, Catholicism, and Mormonism, stress uh, theological reasons for people having large families. A couple strongly committed to such a religious faith may feel that they are fulfilling the will of God by having not merely one but many children, if advisable. Next is social expectation. When we ask why people want children, we need to recognize that there are some who have children without necessarily either wanting or not wanting them. That is, they do not think much about the matter, of course, because that is normal and typical. In our society, there are, in fact, many measures, some subtle and some not so subtle, for married people to have children. But I guess after 1, 2, 3 years, they are looking for children talaga. They are adapting if they can have it immediately. Next is focus on career, another reason. People strongly committed to a career, particularly the dual career people, may prefer to remain child-free. Dual career couples face some difficult question when they decide to have a children. For some, questions themselves are reason enough not to have children. Neither the husband nor the wife may be willing to use time and energy for child rearing tasks. Ano? Those are the very modern person, I think. They are more focused on their careers and ayun, parang mga artista, they don't want to ruin their figure, I guess, in some aspect. But in focusing on career, they are, ayan, kumbaga, from bachelor's degree, master's degree to doctorate degree muna yung inuuna nila. And next is economic cost of children. Ito yung talagang iniisip natin minsan. In addition to time and energy, children cost a great deal of money. Some people feel that the costs are not worth the benefit, that it will cost them more than whatever satisfactions they gain from becoming parents. That is why, uh, yun nga, nag-a-adapt pa, then talagang spend a lot for the children, without thinking of the any of other gastusin. So the financial costs vary over time, but the proportion of income required has not varied for the past few decades. A family with 2 children in the middle income range will spend about 40 to 45% of its after-tax income on the children. Ano? Oh, yes, that is true. Focus on the marriage. Some people feel that children will detract from the marital relationship, and they prefer to focus their energies on that relationship. Those in child-free marriages talk about the freedom they have in continuing romance and sex in their relationships. They feel that they were able to spend more time together and develop a more intimate relationship than would be possible with children. That is another reason of some newly married couple. So, doubts about parenting skills. Clearly, not everyone makes a good parent. Good parenting requires certain skills, and some people question whether they have to those skills. They feel that they do not want to be parents unless they can do a good job, and they're not sure they can cope with the demands of parenting. I don't know if this is one of what you are thinking of, uh, because maybe may mga doubts of being a parent, so that is another reason. Next is involuntary childlessness. Yan. If this were a perfect world, those who wanted children would have them, and those who didn't would not. But just as there is a substantial number of unwanted pregnancies, there is a substantial number of people who want children but who cannot bear their own. Ano po? So those are called involuntary childlessness. Bagaman there are some people who really want to have their children, but they cannot. Uh, so infertility, another reason. Infertility is usually defined as the inability to conceive after a year of unprotected sexual intercourse. Infertility does not mean that a couple has no children. Sometimes people have one or more children, desire still more, but are unable for various reasons to conceive again. That is yung pagkabaog. Ano po, they really want to have their own, but they cannot produce. And let us talk about what are the causes of infertility. Numerous factors are involved. Sustained exposure to environmental factors such as toxic chemicals can render an individual sterile. Sexually transmitted diseases can damage a woman's fallopian tubes. Infections from intrauterine contraceptives devices have made some women infertile. But both men and women can suffer from infertility. That is not true that babae lang or lalaki lang yung nababao. Ano, both women or the men can experience this ano, or have experienced this infertility. Female infertility. Can be due to endometriosis, a disease in which the tissue that the line inside of the uterus begins to grow outside as well. The growth of prevents the sperm from meeting the egg in the fallopian tube, and the causes of endometriosis are unknown. It tends to affect women in their 20s and 30s who have not had children. So that is another factor. How about male infertility? Is somewhat less common than female, but may also arise from a number of different factors. Males are infertile generally because they have a low sperm count or because their sperm do not swim as fast as they should. Low sperm counts may result from injury, from infection, from having mumps after childhood, exposure to radiation, birth defects, or a variety of other disorders is one of the reasons. Spin production also may be decreased by alcohol and drug use, including some prescription drugs. Male infertility can sometimes be treated through drugs or surgery. May ano naman pala, there are treatment naman pala if ever that you are having this problem. And also we could have artificial insemination. It is the injection of sperm into a woman's vagina to result in conception, of course. The procedure must be carried out at the time the woman is ovulating or releasing an egg. Artificial insemination uses either the husband's semen or that of an anonymous donor. Ano po sa artificial insemination. And we could also have surrogate mothers. When the wife is infertile or incapable of carrying a child, a couple may opt for a surrogate mother. The surrogate mother is a woman who volunteers to carry the baby of the couple and give the infant to them at the time of birth. Typically, she signs a contract with them and is paid a fee for her services. Ano po? And dapat yung surrogate mother, maganda rin yung laki. And of course, pinapacheck siya daily or sa check-up niya dapat ay laging nasusunod as well as the vitamins. Next is parenting in the well-being of children. This one, yeah. If you feel good about yourself and are doing well with your life so far, you probably have grown up in a home with one or two warm, loving parents. Parents are not the only influences in our lives, but the way they relate to us is very important for our well-being. Sana, sana experience mo this thing. So we have different styles of parenting. Many good books are available on appropriate and healthy parenting techniques, but here we will briefly look at the three basic approaches to parenting that can have quite different effects or effects on the children. First one is authoritarian. The approach is to exercise maximum control and to expect unquestioning obedience. The child cannot ask anything about what the parents supposed to. And children may perceive such parents are rejecting and as refusing to them any autonomy. Parent-children interaction is not the give and take of a developing relationship, but the giving of others by a superior to a subordinate. In case of infraction of the rules, discipline is likely to be both served and physical. That is in authoritarian. But there is authoritative parenting. The approach is to put boundaries on acceptable behavior within a warm, accepting context. Children are likely to perceive such an atmosphere as one that encourages their autonomy, controls their behaviors moderately, and allows them to express their opinions and develop their own decision-making ability. Parent-child interaction is generally characterized by affection, a certain amount of give and take, but relatively clear expectation for children's behavior. In authoritative parent, they are uh, also giving uh, their what they really want to do, but the child is on its way on doing those things. Then they are controlled behaviorally, but also in moderate way. Unlike the authoritarian, they are really controlled by the parent. Ano po? Ayan. So we have the permissive parenting. This approach is to minimize any control. Children are encouraged to make their own decisions and develop their independence with few or no parental constraints or guidance. Ito naman yung isa sa parenting style na medyo hindi na nag-iisip yung magulang. Ano, for some reason. Kasi they are assuming that the children will do good and perform his task as a child or as their children. Ano po? Permissive. Then parental behavior and children adjustment. And different styles of parenting have very different consequences. Interestingly, Children who perceive their parents as permissive also rate them as less accepting and warm than those who perceive their parents as authoritative. Those who perceive their parents as authoritarian tend to have lower self-esteem and school achievement than those who perceive their parents as authoritative. Ano po? So, I guess you have your friend who was been like this. Ano? So maybe those classmates are the result of this kind of parenting. And parental behavior and self-esteem, if you are well adjusted, of course, you are most likely to have high self-esteem, the evaluation of yourself as someone of worth. But self-esteem is important for all aspects of life, not just your adjustments to social situations. Ano? Kaya mas maganda sana if we develop or the self-esteem has developed properly in one's individual. And that is affected by correct parenting style. Next is the activity. So I will just cut on this and I will just give you the instructions. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in and watching this video. I guess you've learned a lot from this, and I hope that there are more viewers or interested for this kind of topic. Thank you so much again.